We love to believe that we are in control, right? Want to believe that, our life is exactly the way we want it to go. We want it all ordered. First comes this, next comes this, next comes this. We want it all in a straight line, right? We want it all at the right time. Our children must get married, then they must have their babies, and that everything must go exactly as planned. Nothing in your life, nothing remains the same. It's not all bad, especially if you're going through a really tough time. If you're going through really a down cycle in your life, then you're dying to change. Then you're dying for things to become, for everything to become all right, for everything to get calm. And our ancestors, our parents, our family always tell you, it's okay. It's all going to be happy. Everything is going to be okay, right? But when things are bad in our lives, when things are so miserable and we've got this health problem, we've lost a job, or we've lost our money, or we're just struggling to find meaning in our life, it feels like this is going to go on forever. But has anything in your life gone forever? No. 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 So you must understand that good things as well as bad do not last forever. Right? Where everything is going well, life is beautiful, your health is fine, you have a steady job, boom, something is going to come. Something is going to come and change everything. Right? And you wonder, oh my God, I had everything and it's gone. It's gone. But look around you in nature. Everything follows seasons. There are changes taking place every single day. And recently I bought a lot of these indoor calathea plants. And do you know they dance? The one behind you. They never remain the same. They're like that up once, and then they droop down, and then they put one hand up, and then they put the other leaf up. It's like they're dancing. These plants are moving and talking all the time. You look at the trees. 6 months ago, I was looking at the little mango flowers. I said, oh my God, this is going to be a great season. The mango flowers are here. We're going to get all the mangoes in, right? But the mango flowers came, and then the fruit. And then all of a sudden, around November, the leaves will start falling. And this happens. It takes 12 years for your body to change every single cell, to rebuild and replace every single self. So the I that you think is I is not I. It's not the same I. It's a new I. It's a different body. And that's amazing. That's amazing that the whole body undergoes change. And yet you hear people saying, well, I can't change. I'm sorry. I can't change. I can't do, I am who I am. Take it or leave it. You have so many of those that say that, I'm like this. This is who I am. If you like it, you take it. Otherwise, you go. And I always smile. Because as soon as you say, no, never, I'm never going to do this, life comes in the way, drops you flat on your face, and it gives you the one thing that you were dreading the most. And it changes everything. Look at what COVID did. Look at what COVID did. How many people had to give up their jobs, adapt to their homes, adapt to a new way of relating to their co-workers, right? The way they dressed up, the way they came on screen, they were wearing their shirts and no pants. pajamas below, right? Life was different. You didn't have to sit and plaster makeup on your face and go into office. You literally, had your cup of coffee and that was it, right? And then your kids would start shouting and scream, Mom, I need this, Mom, I need that. And you're trying to present this wonderful, call, and you're trying to say everything right, and your child is come. And my daughter says that there are times when the manager's holding her baby in her hand and doing this call. And the baby's pulling her hair and pulling her glasses and doing all of this. Yeah. And we learn to change. And companies have changed. How much have companies changed, adapted to what people need? Now you find that most companies are quite comfortable with a hybrid model. That you go in a few days a week, that you don't go in other times. The capacity or the propensity for this mind-body complex to change is amazing. We can adapt to anything. That's why we have survived. Do you know how many species of humans there were? Hundreds. Many died out. Many died out, from the Neanderthals to Homo erectus to Homo habilis, so many different names. And the Homo sapiens survived. Why? Because it learned to adapt to the environment. This is the way of nature. When situations change, the body adapts. Did you know that people that are coming out of India have something called a thrift gene? That they can withstand periods of long famine, long drought, with no food, and still store fat. Because that's the way it has always been. There's been long periods of drought and famine. It is a gene that can actually be isolated. If you have survived out of India, you probably have that gene. You probably have that ability to stay without food for a long time. We are an amazingly adapting species. Many years ago in my family, it was unheard of that anybody married anyone other than a Brahmin Iyer. That's the caste we belong to. 5 generations ago. It was unheard of. You go to India now, everybody's marrying everybody. Everything has broken down. And everybody's marrying everybody. And everybody's extremely happy with the sons-in-law they get. They're very happy if their children at least marry, It's like, oh my God, thank goodness they got married. Now I don't have to worry about this, right? Yeah. Everything is changing. You think that 50 years ago, our attitudes towards anyone that was not like us was so strict. How much have we changed? How far have we come? How accepting are we of people that think differently, that dress differently, that that have different sexual orientation? I know my parents and my grandparents' generation, it was something that, people did not look kindly on. It's not that they didn't see it. They knew very well what was happening, because all this has always happened. It has always happened. Just now we are much more aware because of, our access to media. And we have changed our approach to how we accept and embrace all of it. This body is extremely resilient. It can survive the harshest conditions. If you leave the body alone and don't interfere with your mind, you can survive in the most stressful of situations. Because the body knows how to react when stuff presents itself, right? We're always looking to survive. We're always looking for that balance, to stay calm, to stay centered, to stay complete, to stay finished, you know, in a way that is inclusive, in a way that is inclusive. So, are we in charge of what's going to happen to us? Now, I say breathe and meditate and everything's going to be good. Can I actually control what's going to happen outside? No. That's going to just happen. Stuff is going to come at you. Illness is going to come at you. Health is going to come at you. Kids are going to behave badly. Somebody's going to be rude. Somebody's going to be mean. Somebody's going to, there's going to be shortages. There's going to be all kinds of things happening in this world. And how are we going to live with it? How are we going to face this situation? When I first came to this country, people were wonderful and polite to each other. That situation that came up at the gym where someone was rude to me would never have happened then. But it did happen. And now you have to realize that this is happening. People are not talking to you the way you're accustomed to. Now, how am I going to respond to this? How am I going to respond to this? Am I going to respond to anger with anger, or can my calm combat his anger? Can I smile? Can I smile? Because I've got this little deflector up, that what people say to me or things that happen to me don't immediately hit me. The arrows that come get totally deflected. Imagine if you had a thin plastic deflector all around you. It shields you from immediate hurt. It shields you from immediate trauma. It gives you that space to, instead of reacting, to just respond. It gives you the ability to smile, no matter how bad things are. I remember someone told us of a situation where this lady, it was wet, and she slipped and she fell. And instead of yelling at everybody about how, there's water on the floor, how could you she started laughing. She started laughing. And that changes everything. So you see, when things don't go our way, you can react to it with a lot of anger, with a lot of resentment. It's like, how can you tell me that I'm just sitting here quietly drinking my tea and eating my biscuits, and you're telling me that stuff has to be done? Or you can say, yeah, you have that deflector up. Somebody said something to me. I'll deal with it when I can. I don't have to lash out. I don't have to hurt. I don't have to scream. I don't have to shout. That's a difficult one.
It is.
That's a difficult one. To reprogram the way you react to this world, right? And we're capable of doing that. You don't have to be the angry person, the reactive person, the one who got hurt, the one who hurt. You don't have to be that person anymore. You can be calm. You can be the joy in the situation, the one that laughs, the one that diffuses everything, the one that reaches out and says, it's okay. It's not all bad. We're there for each other. How can I help you? You try telling someone who's screaming at you and say, I know, it's really hard. How can I help you? Now they'll get totally shocked because they're ready to slap you. And now you've been too kind to them and it doesn't look nice if they slap you. Right? That's a very good way of dealing with it. Now, we're not reacting, or we're not doing anything to control anybody else. You can barely control yourself. So, what are we trying? The whole purpose of this class, the whole purpose of meditating, the whole purpose of all of this is so that you discover that peace and calm. You discover those tools that will help you in situations that are tough, that are stressful, that bring out the worst in you. This is the whole reason that it's for. And it may not happen every time. And you may shout a couple of times, and that's okay. That's okay. But you're not shouting a dozen times. And so it's better. It's better. Every day you practice, it gets a little bit better. And the thing is, if we resist saying that I'm not going to change, I'm going to be who I am, the world comes hurling at you. And it brings you to your knees. So before that happens, it is much more prudent, it is much better to reflect on ourselves and see, what am I doing in the course of my day to make me unhappy, to make me sad, to make me miserable? What are the things, what are the triggers that are making me sad, and how can I adapt to it? How can I change? My situation is changing every moment. When I'm asking you to stay present, this moment is not this moment, is not this moment. But if you're here, fully present, moment to moment, every time you get caught in what I call eternal time. It's a flowing river of consciousness where you're present, totally present here now. And no matter what comes up, you have the ability to respond. You're not clouding it with a whole bunch of mental things of, I am a big lady and I cannot change. I am the meditation teacher and I must always remain calm. I am the mother of the house and I need to get that respect. Right? We cloud all our reactions, we cloud all our emotions by this mental idea, this whole idea of who I am and how I'm supposed to be. Once you drop that, you have this little deflector around. Nothing anyone says bothers you. You can literally, as soon as you get close to that person you know pushes your buttons, you can just put up that deflector and just sit and smile and just say yes and no and yes and no. And nothing they say need affect you. You can just smoothly go through that period in your life, completely calm, completely peaceful, completely happy. This is how you live life effortlessly. Om Namah Shivaya.